live the 30th day of May 2010. We're going to be live here for the next 2 hours. For just one segment, Wayne Madsen of the Wayne Madsen Report will be joining us coming up in about an hour and a half, the middle of the second hour, to give us his breakdown. Attack on South Korean ship looks like a false flag operation. That's his words, and I always really respect his analysis in hindsight. He's somebody who I've really never seen be wrong. A lot of great sources, also worked, of course, with multiple U.S. intelligence agencies. And they are confirming now the torpedo is a German torpedo. There's no history of the Germans selling their high-tech torpedoes that are launched out of their Dolphin submarines that they've sold to Israel and others being used. And so we'll talk to him briefly coming up later in the second hour. I want to talk some about Memorial Day just briefly when we come back, my view on it, and the great veterans of this nation. So I'll speak to that. Also, they're now saying it's not one oil leak, not two. The AP's now reporting 3 miles away. Well, I mean, it's like they found a fissure in the earth and oil's just coming out. Well, the truth is they found all sorts of naturally occurring oil seepage. You have oil seepage on the ground, and you have oil seepage in the sea. What do you think tar pits are? The La Brea tar pits in downtown Los Angeles, full of saber-toothed tigers and mastodons and woolly mammoths and boreal North American giant ground sloths. It's an oxymoron. They're a boreal and they're ground sloths, both a boreal and ground sloths. But we'll be discussing that, and it's just devastating the Louisiana, Mississippi coastlines. We've got video of a congressman breaking down and crying, watching that wonderful community down there, so beautiful, being decimated. But it will come back. Oil is toxic, but not that toxic. The chemicals they're using to disperse it, though, that's another story. This is one of the classic examples of the cure being worse than the disease. So that is coming up as well. We have some big developments going on with Mexico, huge economic developments. In fact, guys, I was digging through my IMs I sent you. And I'll come out there during the 1 minute break, but I didn't see it in my stacks. And I just now realized that incredible announcement by Geithner, where he says to China when he was there last week, he said, in fact, this is going to be my top story, and then I just realized that I'm at home and I IM my articles here to have them printed here, and sometimes they don't make it through, but we have a video of Geithner saying the U.S. is done. We're never going to basically come back financially. We can't be your market anymore, China. You better become sustainable and sell to yourself. And the other bizarre statement of Europe's going to have to be China's new trading partner because the U.S. is just done. They've sucked us dry. When Europe and the United States are pretty much in the same financial situation, run by the very same private banking cartel. And so we'll be discussing that. To say that the news is off the chart, I mean, I say this at the start of almost every radio show now. To say that the news and information is off the chart is because it is off the chart, and it's getting more off the chart. It's like a car that can go to 1,000 RPMs. Well, suddenly it can go to 2,000, then 3,000, then 4,000. I mean, it broke the gauge a long time ago of craziness. Here's one. Israel stations nuclear missile subs off Iran. Times of London, very prestigious publication. You've got Israel preparing to bust a blockade or enforce a blockade of peaceful people trying to bring medicine into Gaza. Flotilla set for final leg of Gaza blockade. Busting bid. Israeli gunships head to sea to block flotilla. That's AP. So I'm going to come back and rattle through a whole bunch of this important news. And there is a lot of it. And then I'm going to get into the big news, the financial situation, when the bankers are announcing, ding, oh, what's that sound, honey? Oh, the turkey's cooked. Oh, the turkey's cooked for 12 hours? Go get it out. Let's eat it. You know, Geithner, America's done, he tells the Chinese. It is Sunday, my friends, the 30th day of May 2010. I want to talk about Memorial Day first. And then I'm going to run through all of the amazing news here. And amazing is the word. Israel stations nuclear missile subs off Iran. Times of London. Israel rejects call to join anti-nuclear treaty. At least there's a real discussion about the fact that Israel has 400 nukes, but says no one else in the region is allowed to have them. Also, starving and deluded, yet North Korea is ready for war. Going back to Israel, Israel war game rehearses Iran attack. Flotilla set for final leg of Gaza blockade, busting bid. French news agency, hundreds of activists braced for the final leg of their attempt to go through a Gaza Strip embargo, a bid Israel vowed to defeat. And that was yesterday. Now here is another headline. Israel gunships head to sea to block flotilla. And it says their ships headed out to sea Friday to stop a flotilla of pro-Palestinian activists from reaching the Gaza Strip, the military said, setting the stage for what could become a dramatic showdown on the high seas. You know, Gaza's been under siege for several years, oldest form of total war, but we'll continue to follow that as it unfolds. Also, second Iceland volcano issues ominous warning. The volcano is Katla and is many times bigger than the one that's already screwed up air travel the last few months. And they're saying it's set to blow. So we'll be talking more about that coming up in the broadcast. Also, pirates threaten boats on U.S.-Mexico border. AP, California college offers scholarship to illegal aliens. That's Fox News. Well, what's the big deal? I mean, illegal aliens have always, the last 30 years, gotten in-state tuition when other U.S. citizens don't get it, and they get first dibs on all the welfare and all the free scholarships. I mean, that's on record because the globalists want to break down the borders and have a group here that'll vote for gun control and big government, and 90+% of the illegals, when they get to vote, finally vote to take our guns and take our property. So, of course, the banks are bringing them in. Got to bring down the U.S. Administration opposes Arizona law that penalizes the hiring of illegal immigrants. The feds have lied, and Napolitano, the head of Homeland Security, of insecurity, she's got plenty of money for the feds to be spying on returning veterans, gun owners, libertarians, conservatives, people like that, and to harass gun shops and gun shows. But last week in Congress, she admitted she hasn't read the Arizona bill. Well, I've read it. We've read it on air. It is identical, except that it says Arizona and the state instead of federal, to federal law. And that's if the feds, because the federal law is very weak, happen to already arrest somebody in the commission of a crime or suspicion, drunk driving, speeding, whatever, and if they don't have identification, they are to be brought to ICE. Or what's the La Migra. Feds don't do that. You've seen it in the news where they'll do a staged meat-packing plant arrest of 500 people and give every one of them a green card on the spot. They'll arrest them in front of TV cameras and then take them down the street, or they'll take them and give them green cards and have them build the fake border fence that you could drive the Empire State's Building through. And they only built 50-something miles of the 2,000. It's just completely... Obama announced this week the 1,200 troops are just to fight drugs coming across the border. Yeah, and of course, I guess they're well-trained. If these troops come from Afghanistan, they could plant poppies in South Texas. Of course, they don't grow well here. They only grow well in a few geographic areas of the globe, 90+% in Afghanistan. And our own troops are on the news admitting, I guess on Memorial Day, one of the symbols of supporting vets has always been a poppy. You know why? Because it's a painkiller. Well, the poppy's associated with troops having their arms and legs blown off, and so the poppy brings them heroin. It brings them relief. So I guess the entire symbol of America and the entire symbol of our troops should just be a big, giant poppy. And we can have the troops down on the border who are there for show. In the Associated Press, they admit not allowed to interdict illegals, not allowed to even call the Border Patrol if they see them. Bush put them down there 5 years ago. They get shot at by Mexican troops. They were told to run. Our troops are told to run. How about on Memorial Day, we memorialize that our republic has died? How about we have a memorial like you go to, grandma's grave and once a year and put a wreath around it saying, "We love you, Grandma." How about we place wreaths at all of the veteran cemeteries for apologizing to them that we let America be taken over by foreign corporate interest? No, who's here in America fighting against the New World Order, the open announcement of global government run by a bunch of Ponzi scheme-running offshore banks? It's on record they engineered the crisis. It's on record they plunged the housing market. I've got stacks of mainstream news with even the German government saying Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and others engineered the European collapse with the head of the European Central Bank, Trichet, for France. That's in the mainstream news today.